so look, he's gone about this in the Middle East with some pragmatism when it comes to the Houthis, when it comes to Iran, when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Gaza. There's been a pragmatism to him. Let me offer a little bit of praise here for the president. I thought the words of his speech that he gave in Saudi Arabia were interesting to me, because I think it's something that, let me just put it this way. It's a type of foreign policy that it was the coming of age of foreign policy for people of my generation and older, very much a Cold War pragmatism. Here's what he said. He goes, far too many American presidents have been afflicted with the notion that it's our job to look into the souls of foreign leaders, an allusion to George W. Bush and Putin, and use U.S. policy to dispense justice for their sins. It is God's job to sit in judgment, my job to defend America and to promote the fundamental interests of stability, prosperity, and peace. Look, there is a bit of a dividing line. There's sort of two divides in American foreign policy. You have your basic left versus right, but you do have this sort of different divide, which is between, is it America's job to spread and promote democracy or not? George W. Bush thought it was. I think Barack Obama thought it was as well. And I think post-Cold War, it's where it was Bill Clinton's instincts. It was George H.W.'s instincts, right? And I think if you're a child of the Cold War, or if you were a leader during the Cold War, you want to believe that winning the Cold War meant democracy won, communism lost, right? So, okay, so we can keep spreading. So, but sometimes, as Donald Rumsfeld sort of said once, you go to war with the army you have, not the army that you want. And American foreign policy at times has to be, you deal with the leaders that are there, not the ones that you wish were there at times. And so, look, he's gone about this in the Middle East with some pragmatism when it comes to the Houthis, when it comes to Iran, when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Gaza. There's been a pragmatism to him. Now, I'll be honest, there's a cynic in me that says this pragmatism is all because the Gulf state rich guys that he's sucking up to and who are helping essentially feather his personal nest and help with all the crypto business that the sons are involved in, is part of the motivation to be pragmatic about Syria. It's something the Gulf states care about. Pragmatic about Iran. It's something the Gulf states care about. So, and pragmatic about Gaza. It's something the Gulf states care about. So it's possible this is simply motivated by his own personal greed, his own personal hopes for transaction. And here's another, but the sentiment is a fair sentiment, but I would throw it back at him and at Vice President Vance and say, why is it that you're getting involved in Germany's politics? If this is what you believe, and I think it's a fair way to think about American foreign policy, be uber pragmatic. What's in the best interest of the United States? Hard stop. If you got to deal with a dictator here or there, it is what it is. Okay. Then it's none of your business how Germany wants to conduct its politics and treat right-wing extremism in their country. It's none of your business what France wants to do. It's none of your business what Albania wants to do. It's none of your business what's happening in other democracies. So it is like I said, the sentiment I think is one that many Americans would agree with, because most Americans are pragmatists. You have to be. I always say, in fact, the whole idea of America is to surface human pragmatism. Okay. So the sentiment works. And frankly, in the Middle East, this kind of sort of realpolitik over time has served to be the best way to keep stability. But you can't just sort of pick and choose when you're pragmatic, and pick and choose. And this would be the problem here is it does feel as if this administration does beat up those that are closest to us ideologically, other democracies, because maybe they don't like his brand of democracy. But if you're going to preach this sentiment to the dictators of the Middle East, and then remember, look, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, these are not royal families. These are benign, at best, benevolent dictatorships. I've never understood why we somehow try to separate monarchies from other countries just because the person doesn't call themselves a king, they're a dictator. But if they do call themselves a king, they're suddenly a monarch. If it's unitary, if it's sort of dictatorial rule, whether their title is king, emir, or president, authoritarian is authoritarian. You can't just pick and choose when you're going to be pragmatic. You can't just pick and choose when you're going to decide whether to get involved in another country's politics or not, or whether you're going to try to use American leverage. I do think that America ought to try to at least live by its own values in how it tries to help those in need overseas. So that the decision to cut off AID was one of the worst foreign policy decisions that Trump has made. So again, I go back. It is this sentiment. Live by it through all of your negotiations. Don't just live by it because you're trying to rationalize working with bad guys. Again, this is what you would say when you want to rationalize working with bad guys. And it works if you treat your friends and those countries the same way. One more note on this trip. We just before I came on to record this not shockingly, Vladimir Putin decided not to go to Turkey and to meet face-to-face with Zelensky. So now the ball's really in Donald Trump's court, right? Is he going to? Putin clearly believes the following on the war, that Donald Trump's going to lose interest, America's going to lose interest, and it will slowly back away from Ukraine, and he'll be able to essentially, over time, push and push and push and break Ukraine. Is Donald Trump going to let Putin play him like this? Or is he going to realize, and I think more and more Republicans around Donald Trump are trying to tell him, this is what we were trying to tell you about Putin. He can't be trusted. His word you can't take him at his word. I think Witkoff has learned this the hard way. His developer friend, who he's used as his personal Secretary of State to go around the country, go around the world, negotiate on his behalf. So ball's now in America's court. Ball's now in Donald Trump's court. Are you going to squeeze Putin? You squeezed Zelensky and forced him to sign this minerals deal. You humiliated him on an international stage at the White House. Putin is humiliating you, Donald Trump. Are you going to sit there and take it? Or are you going to punish him for not accepting your engraved invitation to allow him to win his war with a lot more than frankly many in the Western world would have let him walk away with, and he still rejected your offer. He still rejected your offer. What are you going to do about it?